from Athens, Greece this time, and with us today is Maria, as always, and Mr. Donna Kiernan, which is the CEO and founder of uh, Tenego and Tenego Academy. I can hear my voice, so I
Okay.
think one of you has open LinkedIn.
No, I'm not in it, but I can
Okay.
make sure I'm good.
Okay, maybe let me see.
Still this way?
Okay, now it sounds better. So
Do you hear
welcome,
yourself?
Donna. Welcome in our live stream, Donna.
It's good to be here, Alex. Maria, thank you for inviting me.
Are you good, Alex, on the sound?
Yes.
Are you still
No,
hearing?
I'm not good. I can still hear.
Okay. Do you hear when I speak, or is it? Sorry, this is the pleasure of live.
Yes.
Okay. Well, why don't you start telling us a bit about you and what you do, Donna?
Okay, so Tenego, we're specialists in helping technology vendors, technology product and SaaS companies to be able to determine what's their path in selling through partners. So deciding what type of companies make sense and how to. So the important things in here is selecting the right type of companies and the companies that they can offer something to, a partner proposition. So you may find companies who absolutely have the right customer base and the right capabilities, but why should they do it? And what can you offer them to make them do that in a sense? So we help people build partner programs to get started and to build the partner programs. So we focus on the hard bit of helping them get started.
Okay. And so do you do that only with big companies, or who do you work with? Small business owners?
Yeah, no, interesting question. So because we help companies who, in most cases...
I'm sorry to interrupt you. Can it be, Donna, that you have one channel open, YouTube or LinkedIn? Because I can hear...
I'll put on a headset, will I, Alex? It might make it better.
It's like somebody has opened a channel.
So let me just change this. So
that's strange.
You still have it?
Let's see now.
I'm just closing everything I have open on my laptop.
No, let me just change my... No, how's that?
How's that doing, Alex?
Well,
did I lose my video?
Yeah, we don't see you.
We don't see you anymore.
There you go.
Now it seems a little bit better. Let's see.
Okay, sorry.
So let me give you a few examples, right? So everyone knows Microsoft. Microsoft have 400,000 partners around the world.
Wow.
And these partners are of different types. They have technology companies developing the products on top of Microsoft's platforms. That's one type of partner, an ISV, independent software vendor. They've got, say, reseller and implementer partners who are taking some of the products, say Microsoft Dynamics in a CRM space. They're implementing that solution into end businesses. And they've got consulting partners. They've got a mix of so many different types of partners, 400,000. In the IT and infrastructure, they have managed services and IT services companies who are taking their cloud platforms, like the Office platform, the email platforms, and all the various sort of cloud infrastructure going in at that end. So, I mean, they do have many, many different types of partners. And for an ordinary software vendor, you asked me what type and size we work with. So we would work with companies that are typically starting, right? So they're typically less than 25 million revenue, but many of them are less than 2 and 3 million revenue. So it's when they have a good direct business. So they understand who their target customer is, and they've proven that, and why the customer buying, their customer proposition. And then how do they work with partners to be able to get the partners to go to other customers on their behalf? So you think about the simplest one is an affiliate partner or a referral partner who's going to do introductions into the decision maker. But then you find someone who has a capability in selling, so they might help you develop an opportunity with target customers, and then sell it, or they may have a capability in implementing, or some sort of consulting capability in helping it roll out and train and so on. So if you think about, say, for any vendor, there's a range of capabilities what it takes to sell. There's a range of capabilities what it needs to implement and get the users to be able to use it. But then in many, many cases, those end company users, how do they get the full value of those solutions, which usually requires some sort of a transformation, training, rollout, and then a range of other services and capabilities to be able to help the end customer kind of get the full value out of whatever's implemented. And there's so many, I'm giving a very generic answer, right? But there's so many different examples, whatever companies do. And even vendors partner with other vendors.
Yeah. So you're basically helping businesses scale outside of what they do day to day, right? Through a new channel or a few new channels that, and you not only teach them how to do it, but you give them all the options and help them implement it into their company.
Yeah, we started as a consulting business doing this in 2008. And then over the last years, we developed Tenego Academy to be able to train and coach people to apply this themselves. So we have online video, offline exercises, and then there's a group and one-to-one coaching with companies to help them apply it and make a business impact, basically. This is not just about education, right? So it's about impacting their business.
Amazing. And so what brought you into that world? What's the origin story?
So I'm a techie by background. I was coding from the age of 12. When I went to college, they were putting names on methodologies and approaches that I discovered elsewhere, we'll say. So I was a deep techie. And I went on the journey of being a deep techie and start my own business with a friend as a deep techie into learning how to sell. So kind of within that journey, kind of my passion was helping tech CEOs in how to sell and grow internationally.
Oh, wow.
And I sort of fell into a number of partnerships to figure out how things work in my own business. And then I decided, kind of after running a couple of businesses of my own, involved in other businesses and helping other businesses, I decided that to focus on partnering in 2008 and develop a methodology. Being a techie, looking for systems and developing systems and methodologies and how to do this and how to make a scale was my focus. But it's always about helping those tech CEOs. And it still is.
But Donna, help me understand, please. What is the criteria that makes one software company choose to go through partnering and sell through the channel the software that they have instead of selling that directly?
Yeah, so it depends how much. Okay, take a company who have a very strong customer proposition, and customers are coming to them, and it's you could say a couple of decision points are the cost of customer acquisition. How hard is it to get to the end customer themselves, right? How much are they spending to make that happen? Now, if you're a SaaS solution with a low price point on a monthly basis, it's marketing that gets them to your door, do their free trials, whatever it is, and in that kind of self-service model into the SMB world, there's not much room for partner revenue. Some of those have affiliate revenue. But then if you go into larger deal size, so the questions I typically ask in talking to a tech CEO is, what's their typical deal size? And what's the typical deal shape? So they're selling the licenses and their services for the customers to use those software, right? And in an ideal world for a reseller, implementer, the implementer is going to sell the software, get a share of licenses, and then they're going to have the services to do the implementation or support or some after sales services for rollout, wherever else. And that's one reseller implementer model. But the deal size needs to be there and the level of services for implementation needs to be there. There's another scenario where if there's many sort of managed service providers where they could be going into large companies, and large companies, there's many users in there. And so again, the implementation and the ongoing support, so the recurring revenue and support of that is what the managed service providers look for. And then there's other scenarios where there's service companies, project-based companies, and the software might help them deliver and implement it better. So there's a model by which the software kind of is helping them. It's sort of it's a technology-enabled service for that service provider. And then the vendor-to-vendor one is it's basically where there's a gap in someone else's technology that your particular product might fit into. But it's always looking from the customer's need back, and then the capabilities within the technology, the capabilities within the companies to make that happen. Now, the same can happen for, we'll call it a specialist services company, where they're in there not to trying to do everything, but they've got a particular specialist capability that fits into a greater service company or even another technology company.
But
so the deal size, deal shape, the capabilities needed across sales and delivery is everything.
But the first question that comes in my mind is, it isn't often a conflict of interest between different similar services that the partners are selling?
Yeah, so and that's where the alignment is so important. The alignment between what each of the parties are bringing to the table. That's it. So the way we look at it is the business process. The business process sort of the sales, the implementation, and the after sales, if you like. And it needs a certain capabilities on both sides. Effectively, you're combining the capabilities of two companies to give what the customer needs. And one of those capabilities, you're in a region. You know, you could have a product company in Ireland and selling into Spain, for that matter, or whatever. So that the people in Spain have all the relevant relationships and credibility. And a technology company may have a product that suits within their current product set.
So who's your client? Oh, sorry.
Go on, yeah. No, go on.
So who's your client? Is it the person looking for partners, or is it the actual partners? Who do you work for?
The software vendors, the product companies are our clients.
Okay.
Yes, so it's again the tech CEO or the people who own the product, building the product, and they're looking to get resellers or other types of partners to be able to help them grow their marketplace internationally. So we work with companies all over Europe and North America typically is our focus, even though we've helped many into Latin American countries and then some into Asia, but North America and Europe will be primarily our regions.
But the big vendor, Donna, isn't he already networked and connected with partners and resellers?
Maybe not. I mean, we've worked with companies who have large direct sales, but typically have never went through partners before or don't have a structure for scaling that. And we'd help them understand why their current partners are working and then how to put a structure in place to be able to replicate what is successful and then to be able to manage it and then find more. Because again, in many cases, we work with companies who have some partners already, and then they just want to be able to replicate that and have a multiplier, you know. So many large companies are selling direct, and partners can help them into regions or strengthen in regions or get into, particularly with large customers. Close relationships are very important, and there's some resellers who have very close relationships, and it's very hard for other vendors to get in. So they should work through those resellers. So it depends on the markets. There's such a variation on themes and all of this, you know.
And do you work with all industries, or do you have specific groups of people you work with?
It's all B2B. It's all B2B. We worked in sort of financial services, healthcare, manufacturing, so many different areas we work in. So what we bring to the table is sort of the methodology to know how to do this.
Yeah.
And what we come across regularly is many companies don't know there's a methodology to do this. They don't know there's an approach. And they think they have to learn the hard way. And yes, they might hire somebody with previous experience on 1 or 2 partner programs, but we've done hundreds. You know, so even with the people who have a channel leader already, we work with them to guide them through that path and help them learn faster and grow faster.
What are the common mistakes clients come to you after having done? Once they've tried doing it on themselves, what are they discovering that why they need you?
So many of them go off and sort of think they know how to do it, and they jump in and then realize after a year this is not happening as planned. Whatever forecast set down is much more difficult, and so in most cases they're targeting the wrong type of partner or don't have the proper offer or proposition for that partner. They don't have clear alignment. So the three pillars as we put it down is partner fit, that alignment with the right type of partner, the right offer or proposition to be able to attract them and motivate them, and then the enablement. An awful lot of people forget the enablement. The enablement means is making it easy for the partners to sell the product.
Mm.
Yes.
You know, so and those three things are the foundation of a partner program.
And do you negotiate the deal with the partner, or do you just give them the process and let them do that?
Yeah, so both. Right, so we get deep into helping them apart. We kind of negotiate. Some people think, yeah, it's a tough negotiation. It's not. But once you find that fit and alignment, it's all about how do you get into market engagement as fast as possible, and how do you have a structure that's fair on both sides. And how we get to that is really understanding the partner's business, understand kind of collectively what they think they can achieve with it, and then how do we enable them to do that with a fair revenue share and a fair support. So, but yes, so I mean, some of the contentious stuff in there, some people think exclusivity is bad.
Yeah.
Exclusivity is a very powerful tool. When a partner asks for exclusivity, that means they want to commit and they want to get a return on their commitment.
Yeah.
So how do you ring fence that makes sense for them? And we've got many tools and approaches that work very well in that. And then what revenue share, what percentage makes sense? What's industry standard? Well, you could say there's what the big boys are doing, what the Microsoft are doing, but there's so many variations on this and what makes sense. So, I mean, I find it very, very interesting. I think it's great when it works. It is challenging in many cases to make it work and find that model. And you know, there's so much noise out there in the marketplace, so many opportunities, and you need to find the one that fits. I think a hard thing for vendors to understand is you're going in the door to a reseller and you want to give them an opportunity to make money. Well, they're already making money. They already have loads of other opportunities to make money. They want to make money the way they're currently making money. They already have a plan. So how do you give them something to help them on their current plan? You know, so and that's tough for people to. That's simple practicalities. There, it's just because everyone's always looking from the world from their own point of view.
Yeah, that's so true. And so what about you? How big is your business?
Oh, we're small, right? I mean, kind of, we'd have a small core team, but less than 5 really in core team, but maybe another 10 people on various kind of projects and such. But kind of, I would say we were a larger services team, but we changed shape and focused more on growing the academy. So the future, what we're doing is very much around the academy and limited services.
Alex, I realize I've been asking all the questions. Are you still having issues with your?
So if somebody wants to start selling through the channel and wants to collaborate with you, how can he do that?
Oh, then just contact us, right?
Yes.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, how would we do it? There's many companies out there who want to go at a certain pace and do it themselves. And then we've got online programs through Tenego Academy, which kind of, again, it's online video, offline exercises, plus coaching and guidance to guide them through it and applying to their business. And we can set out the pace that's suitable to them. There's other companies who, no, we want you to come in and help us do it. And yes, and we can do that too. And we can bring in our extended team. Our team is around sort of different parts of Europe and other parts of the world too, for that matter, to be able to help people and understand different businesses. So
I found the Tenego Academy something that added extreme value to companies that wanted to sell through the channel. Can you please tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so we've got 3 programs. We have a program for people that are starting. So a lot about sort of what do they really want, kind of through partners, get to understand kind of alignment of business and the partnering strategy. But then what type of partners make sense? What's the partner proposition? Kind of, and then how do you find those partners? And the growing one, the starting bit is helping to shape. And in many cases, a lot of companies have existing relationships, but not really operating as partners. So we help them recognize those and to be able to start some sort of shape that they're operating more together.
Yes.
And then we have a growing program. So it's all about how do you start scaling? How do you find partners? How do you onboard them? How do you support them? How do you manage them? And then there's the established programs. So where companies have a number of partners already and maybe you have a partnering team, how do you review what's working within the partner program, within all the partners? And then how do you, we have a methodology to help identify the bottlenecks across all the partners to collectively realize where's the greatest support needed, and to be able to accelerate the growth of the existing partners. And then how do you realign the whole thing and find more growth? So there's 3 different programs, 3 and 6 month programs, and we can guide people on that. But I mean, we're working with individuals, we're working with people who have marketplaces and ISV partner programs themselves, and be able to roll that out. And so therefore we interact a lot with accelerator programs and other people who have many sort of tech companies within their community, and sharing their content supported in that. And we have a roadmap of loads more content to develop to make this easier, and tools for that matter, to make this easier for companies.
I think you are the only one, at least Euro-wide, that does offer this service.
So yeah, it's an interesting journey for me over the last few years, interacting with people across Europe, doing what we do, and in the US. I reach out to people even that look like competitors, and invariably we're not. And I find many of the vendors in this, the consultants in this space, are helping people operate the existing programs and execute those existing programs. Well, I'm finding that we're one of the very few, and we're told this by clients too, that help people start, which is tough. And there's a little madness in me to stick with that point. But again, it comes back to my initial passion of helping those tech CEOs scale.
Yeah.
And that's why kind of I questioned myself when I realized this 2 years ago, that there's much more money to be made with the big companies. But my passion is with helping those tech CEOs scale and helping people start to find this growth path. So that's why we focus on helping people start and find their partner programs.
No,
And
I
so if
find
somebody wanted,
yes.
sorry.
Sorry, I find it extremely interesting, and since I know you, your deep knowledge on the topic and the specific way of selling through partners, which is not so easy to understand the concept. So initially it was difficult for me to understand the concept.
Okay.
But I think besides of the huge players in the market, there is also a very big room for all these people that they could sell their software and they could add value also to the partners to go and sell through the channel. I think it's an unexploited territory. Yeah.
No, it is. I mean, you think about the millions of startup companies, just Europe and North America, that have no partner program or just a small number of partners, and how do they find a formula that might help them grow faster? And then even those with some sort of channel leader in place, and they say, yeah, we got everything sorted, and then there's arguments of what partners make sense. So I mean, one of the terms I use, if there's no methodology, the strongest opinion wins. And we have a methodology that depersonalizes those opinions. So if there's argument at an executive team about what type of partners make sense, there's no methodology.
Yes.
So, and if there's doubts about what you're doing, right, there's a structure to be able to analyze and put a priority on what type of partners make sense. So we look at the customer journey, and one of the terms in the blogs and material on your partners, the fellow travelers on the customer journey. So you think about a customer who, before they realize they have a need, there's a consultant there that might guide them on what the need is and what the problem is and how to solve it. And then you go further, there's a solution vendor that might offer some part of the solution, but not all the solution. And you might have other service providers who are helping them in the later stages of that problem. That's the customer journey, very summarized.
Yes.
And then the other one is sort of the market ecosystem. When you're getting into the head of your decision maker, kind of what is sort of all the various needs they have, what are they trying to solve, of which you're part of, and then who are all the others that ideally, if everyone knew how great you are, because they have to trust how great you are, then they can help you, but not equally. So you have to figure out how do you prioritize which ones can help you most.
But I also think there are end customer companies that they wouldn't buy unless they buy through a partner. So there is
some of those,
a huge marketplace that stays in dark for people that want to sell direct.
Yeah, but if you think about it as well, I mean, it's so much easier today to develop a new software application or a SaaS application than it was, say, 10, 20 years ago. That means there's more and more software applications. Therefore, there's more confusion for the customers to make a decision which is the right one. So they need help. And it's kind of where there's more choice, people will go with the nearest recommendation.
Absolutely.
Thus, the influence of the partners becomes more important. And that's why my view, anyway, that's why marketplaces like the Microsoft marketplaces and sort of the Salesforce App Exchange, for example, they're growing very fast because it's a trusted environment.
What is the number one characteristic, Donna, that you think is the number one decision factor for a company that creates a software to sell through the channel and not directly?
I would say it has to start with culture.
Okay.
Right. So, I mean, there's some people sort of like a CEO that might be very direct sales focused and believes the partners are there to serve them. Doesn't work very well in partnership.
Okay.
If people don't think that a company, a person who owns a reseller, for example, start that business for their own reason, to be independent and to find things that fit their business, not to answer to somebody else. They might have left a corporate job because they didn't want to answer to somebody. Yeah. So, you know, it's really a partnership mindset. Absolutely. I wrote a blog on this recently. I've learned this years ago, where a very strong CEO, they want to sign a sales plan with a partner, and then you better do what you're supposed to do. Sorry, yes. That's not partnership. You know, so, and they're not part of your direct sales team. You need to find something that's of value to them and be able to support them in doing it. And I've seen so many different scenarios, and there are big trends where the partners were serving the company, where it's flipped, and it's very large companies have flipped on their head. Now they're there to serve partners. And so the culture and the mindset of the leadership team is so important.
Very interesting. So I don't know if, Maria, you want to ask Donna something else, something more?
No, I think that was really interesting. I'd love to, if somebody wanted to do what you're doing, like get into that partnership world, what should they do?
So I interact with many people who are doing it and started doing it. Again, just because I don't believe there's competitors out there in what we're doing. I think we can help each other, right? So a lot of people do sort of look at anyone who's leaving a job to go consulting, right? It's a tough road to get started unless you have no problem out there engaging with people to find work, right? Many of them sort of go in as sort of consulting or part-time roles in a channel support role or channel management role and help people shape on a one basis. But if that's the question you're asking, right? Kind of, and there's many large channel consulting companies helping people to get the larger programs and to do this. And then there's a whole channel tech ecosystem. So the partner relationship management solutions, all the incentive programs, the tiered management programs, the deal registration, you name it. There's a whole list of different tools about how do you enable partners, support partners. And all that industry needs people with channel experience as well. So whether from a reseller or implementer point of view as partners, as well in that support roles, you know. So people in the channels, kind of, there's lots of opportunity and it's just growing. Partners are becoming more and more important.
Yeah, definitely. And that's why I think it might be an interesting path for certain people who are like you, interested in tech and wanting
you need
to.
You need a certain level of madness, though, yeah. Yeah. No, again, I find it fascinating, and again, kind of, there's so much more areas that I want to explore within what we do and the methodologies and even the technologies. So we're working with local universities, looking at different technology kind of approaches to be able to help people diagnose their channel programs and be able to do a full list of custom recommendations on what they need. And then the tools to be able to analyze partner fit and just to be able to show it graphically. Again, there's good fit or bad fit, or maybe to raise the points to discuss with potential partners. It just makes it easier and less negotiation. Even the resellers don't have a methodology of evaluation of solutions that comes to them.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Yeah.
No, your passion comes through when you talk about it. It's pretty obvious that you love what you do.
No, again, and again, especially when it works for companies, we get fantastic feedback on the content and the methodologies, right? But it's still a lot of effort, regardless of all the know-how, you know. So
yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Fantastic. thank you very much, Donna, for being with us today here. You shed a lot of light. At least I learned a lot of things from you. So it's very, very interesting. So if somebody wants to contact you, how can they find you?
LinkedIn is probably the easiest for this audience, right? Just send me a message on LinkedIn or connect to me on LinkedIn gladly.
Okay. Yeah. Or connect with you on your website, tenego.com or Tenego Academy, right?
TenegoAcademy.com or Tenego.com. Yeah, either would do fine.
Okay.
Yeah, and there's a contact us page there. Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you for being with us today, Donna.
No, it's a pleasure. Alex,
thank you.
Maria, no, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye now.
Bye.